Arnetta, can you tell us a little bit about your normal flow of your life? What's your lifestyle like as a doula?
As a doula? Well, first thing that happens when you're connecting with a client is you'll schedule a consult and you'll talk and see if you're a fit. So after we get beyond that point, then we exchange phone numbers and make sure that your phone is always on. Doulas cannot turn phones off, okay? You can turn phones down, but you can't turn phones off, okay? And then during the pregnancy, we just keep in contact, updates about their appointments, anything that they need, support or information, we make sure we take care of that. And then we slowly wait for, that call to come as to whether or not it's time to go, or just give them tips and tricks to manage, until it's time to go to the hospital. Then of course you have a prenatal meeting, you have postpartum meetings. Some people do more than one prenatal, some people do more than one postpartum. Sometimes that's dependent on the family, depending on their needs or preferences of how you manage that. Some people barely want any. So the day-to-day is like basically just checking in, and you don't have to check in all the time. Probably connect with the clients. You figure it out with the people. Some people need more connection, some people don't. See, how often do you want to hear from me? I'd like to hear from you as often as you want to, especially with the appointments. So we know, how are things going? Is there anything that we need to address or take care of? That's basically the day. And then just when it's close to a guest date, it's like, okay, is it going to be today? Okay, is it going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be, but don't even just forget about those guest dates, because literally they come when they do, not when they're due. And I call them line jumpers when they come early, what I consider early. So there was a line jumper yesterday.
And you said something about a good fit. Can you just describe what that means? Like, so if I'm a client and I'm interviewing a doula, is it something where I go with the person with the most credentials or the most experience, or more of what you're talking about, like a good fit?
A good fit is like, first of all, as doulas, we should not bring our biases into other people's births or whatever our decision making would be. So if by chance the doula is meeting with someone and this person is telling them things that they want, that they know that they can't support or that they won't support, they need to be honest and just say, I'm not sure if I'm a good fit to support your family. Because our role is to support whatever their preferences are, as long as they're legal and healthy, whatever it is, even if it sounds crazy to you. It's not about what you would do. It's about what they would do. And for them to know that you have their back and you're going to do your best in that environment to try to create the space that they need to feel comfortable and safe to have their baby, and know that you will gently, if you need to speak up about something, say something. Like I've had a client who said she was okay with whatever the provider did, but she just wanted to be told first. That's it. She was okay with what it is, but just don't do it. So that's all she did. So when the doctor came in, I just looked at the husband. I said, remember what we talked about? Maybe you'd like to remind the provider of that. It went fine. It went absolutely fine. But yeah, sometimes, it's just not, I don't think experience has anything to do with it. And I say that because I don't care how long you work, there are going to be so many things that you have never seen, you have never heard of, period. But thankfully, most of those things are medical. So it's not our responsibility. It is nice once you've seen it, then when you see it again, you can reassure the client or give them some tips and tricks of what to try. But the medical part is not technically our responsibility. So knowing, and I don't care how, there's always going to be something that you don't know. And do not be afraid to say, if a client asks a question and you don't know the answer, I often say, I'm sorry, I don't know. However, I do have the resources to get the information. And when you tell them that, just make sure that you follow up on that. Don't make false promises. Say, well, I'll get that information to you, and then never get back to them. That won't work.